Hello and welcome to today's video. This time I'm going to be finishing off cleaning up my vintage Pan Major collection, and we're going to start on the Pan H series, I believe. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it. Okay then, so we'll have a look through these. Spectrum 4, which was the science fiction anthology, and these are the tail end ones of the M's, and this is a little the worse for wear, and I've definitely had an opportunity to get a better one of these, so instantly I'm going to pop this on the upgrade list. But date wise, 1967 this one, and that's M193. And I've got a Modesty Blaze here, Sabertooth. A few of these in this series that Pan published. Got a little 50p. I seem to remember having these Modesty Blaze books for ages, in actual fact. That's probably one I've had since I was a boy, I reckon. Okay, Jean Plaidy, The Road to Fotheringay. Evidently a historical. Yep, nice condition, that one. Fishing, Richard Arnold, look at that. A little bit the worse for wear, this one as well. In actual fact, yeah, it looks like it's actually been fishing, this one. So I'm going to pop that on the upgrade list as well. M203, Fishing by Richard Arnold. The Thousand Plan, Ralph Barker. The story of the first 1,000 bomber raid on Cologne. It's a non-fiction one. Thomas Hardy, Far from the Madding Crowd. This is the film tie-in, so I'm guessing that is Julie Christie on the front. I seem to remember I've had a few copies of this one, but I think a tricky one to find in particularly nice condition. It's not too bad, that. This is a nice one, and also quite collectible, Quant on Quant. See, there's a little bit of sticker removal mark up the top there, which we might be able to get off. But yeah, recently, I passed away last year, didn't she, Mary Quant? Nice copy of that house. Yeah, very nice indeed, that one. A Patricia Highsmith, A Suspension of Mercy. Not a Ripley, just a general crime title, or a thriller, I guess you could say. Quest under Capricorn. This is David Attenborough. I believe this might be a reissue of one that... Oh no, it's brand new, this one. Pan did publish some of the David Attenborough Quest books, but evidently this was the first time this one got published, but they did do a couple earlier. Oh, another Patricia Highsmith, The Blunderer. This chap always reminds me of the guy at the start of the TV series The Survivors, the 1970s version of it. That particular photo. Yeah, so this was a second printing reset for 1967. It would have been the first with that particular Pan number. Here's another lovely one, the second Hammer Horror Omnibus. This one goes for a few pounds. Mine's got a faded spine. Sadly, it should be nice and bright orange like that, really, orangey red. But at the same time, it's not a bad copy, all things considered, of a collectible little Pan. That one's probably about £20, something like that. Passport to Peril, Dr. Jason Love. Yeah, that's okay. Not having to do too much work on these so far, are we? Of course, they are all going to need the brush and the polish on. The Thousand Doors, Abraham Rothberg. So, once we've done this lot, we're left with the Pan Pipers. Oh, we got the Pan Tea series, then into the Pan, but there's not too many of those. Then into the Pan Pipers, and then we're into the books, which are a non-series, they're ISBN. Look at this. This is a most unusual sort of something. Rather macabre, though. Don't know if it's your cup of tea. This is the most unusual sort of thriller. Okay. Someone thought they'd leave us that bit of information. Gavin Lyle, shooting script. Bit of a creased up old spine on this one, which is a shame. Yeah, it's sort of borderline. I'll leave it for now. Although actually looking at it on the shelf, it does look awful. So no, it's going on the upgrade list. M231, shooting script by Gavin Lyle. Why bring the rest of them down when, there are nice copies of all of these out there? And that one's got a tiny nick at the bottom of the spine there, which we'll glue down in a moment. M235. Some writing in the back there. Okay. I need my little screwdriver here. And I don't know if you can see it, but just there. There we are. That's where I want to pop a little slither of Pritt stick. There we are. It's mainly to stop it getting caught or getting any worse. Right. The sea shall not save them, John Harris. Yeah, pretty nice copy of that one. Oh, another Georgette Hare, Bath Tangle. Lovely. Self-defense and judo. Okay. Surprisingly, I got a few books on that. I've got at least one Penguin book on judo. The Sinews of Love, Alexander Cordell. I think he had a bit of a name for this sort of stuff. Still 1967 here. The Man in the Mirror. See, this is obviously very, very much of the time for Pam, but it's they just don't attract me, these photograph covers. Not like the beautiful ones of the 50s and 60s. But that is a very, very nice copy indeed, so can't complain at that. Alfred Hitchcock, and this one, it feels like there's... Yes, the whole back is covered with little spots or something. I feel compelled to get it off if I can. And we've seen this before, where a book has got flecked with some dirt. I think we might need to get the old polish on that. Well, we definitely will, but we'll remember to give this one a slightly better special treatment on that one, I think, that particular one. In Praise of Older Women. Yep, very nice. Margaret Irwin, Young Bess. Another Hare here, Frederica. Lovely. Right, The Extraordinary Seaman, a photograph cover. And that's David Niven. It's another film tie-in. David Niven, Faye Dunaway, and Mickey Rooney. Okay, not one I remember. I've seen a few David Niven. I mean, he's all right, but he can sort of be a little bit annoying, can't he? Kim Philby. Now, this is by Philby's wife. Now, he was the spy, wasn't he? And that was my last M. And now we're on to the E's. So this is the first E-book. Colin Wilson and Pat Pittman, Encyclopedia Murder. It's one I've had for years. Also signed by Colin Wilson. I got to meet him at I did an event with him in about 1994. Herman Welk E2. And these E's are massive, as you can see. But they'll definitely benefit from the brush and the polish in a mo. Huge book, that. Now here's a Burgess. Now this is his Mayan trilogy, but it's got a loose segment to it. You can sort of see there that it's come away, so it's like been bent back. There we are. There, it's all there, but I don't want to. I'm going to keep it as a filler for now, but it is on the upgrade list. So E number 3, the Mayan trilogy. I do want to get a better copy of that one because it's broken basically. Naked Kami. This is E number 4, David Weiss. (1965). Obviously, we've started back a little bit with the E numbers, but I haven't got many of them. Pamela Frankow, Slaves of the Lamp, E number 7. Yeah, that's a little bit of a pencil mark there, but not much. On the whole, these have been better condition than I was actually expecting. This one here, The Three Musketeers. This one's signed by cover artist John Raines. I got to meet John with Ticket.net. My friend Tim Kitchen and I went down to Falmouth, which is where he lived, and met him in his studio. He was a really nice guy. Sadly passed away now. But he pulled out loads of original artwork, including some pan covers, but I didn't really think to ask how much they would have been, since they weren't, this period of pan is not my favourite. But on reflection, I wonder what he would have charged for, one of those original pan jackets, and what actually happened to them. Maybe they were sold in a local Falmouth art gallery, possibly. Not sure. And the last little pile here, so we've got E number 9 here. J.B. Priestley, Lost Empires. It's quite nice. Another biggie here by John Raines, The Cloister and the Hearth, as signed again along the top. Oh, he actually signed it along there as well, so he signed that one twice. Okay. I remember at the time I didn't have too many of these. This is early on in my pan collecting days. Okay. Lorna Doone, another one with a Raines cover. That's absolutely fine. E22, Island in the Sun. Yeah, that one's all right. There's all my E's. Now we've got 3 H's, which are thicker again. Look at the size of this one. H number 1, Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. I would imagine that this one's really reasonably difficult to find in nice condition these days. 1964, about 1,400 pages, probably one of the thickest paperbacks I actually own. Russia at War, Alexander Worth, H number 2, another one which is 1,000 pages. And then my last H, and I think the last one they published was H number 3 here, this book on Kennedy by Theodore Sorensen. Another one I've had for a long time. There we are. So that's all the books we're going to be cleaning up today. So the next step is to do the brushing down. Right, let's get brushing. I'm hoping these won't be too bad, but I think some are definitely worse than others. Right, let's stack one. It's always the bit that's the worst, isn't it, is the brushing. Quite a bit off one of those. Always the top edge, of course, which picks up the dust, because that's how the books have been stored historically. And we have to remember these are all almost 60 years old, the books we're looking at today, which is mad when you think about it, isn't it? I've had this one for years, literally since I've been collecting Pan. I've had that big book. I'm glad I've got it. Same with this one, actually. Had it a long time. It's not mint, but it will do for now. I was once offered the original artwork for that, or at least it came under my nose, but the dealer who had it just wanted like 250 quid for it. It just wasn't worth it. It didn't look anything in the flesh, so I gave it a pass. Right, last step now is I'm going to give the lens a clean, because it does sometimes get a bit dusty with all the brushing. And then we're going to give these books a polish. Some a little bit more of a polish than others, but that will be the final step of the process. Right, here we are. So a fresh bit of duster. I think we just about got enough Mr. Sheen here. I must remember to pick some more up next time I'm at the supermarket, because I've gone through about 3 tins in a year, if you were keeping count. Which I know you weren't, but last time I bought some, I went through a few supermarkets and I couldn't find any Mr. Sheen to buy. I was really surprised. And then I came across one supermarket which had a load, and it looked like, and this is not a joke, that people had been panic buying it. And I thought, this is ridiculous. But so I thought, well, I better get 3 tins. And that's lasted me about a year, so all well and good. I reckon next time I buy another 3 with an estimate of what we got left to do. I don't know, really. I mean, I can't help but feel the end is, well, it definitely is getting closer on the books. And I think the way that we've been doing it, in the end, what will happen is we would have cleaned virtually all the books, but we'll still have some Penguin stuff to get through. So it'll be like a Penguin clean video, which are, still really popular in that. So we'll be doing one of those, either Penguin or Pelican or some of the other Penguin series, and a bagging video. And that's how it's going to be. So it'll be alternating between that. But we have just about, certainly the end is in sight, shall we say, even if it's still potentially months away. It is in sight, shall we say. And we've been doing these videos over 2 years now, amazingly. The channel's almost at 2,000 subscribers, which is fantastic. I'm glad I filmed the process. You'd be amazed how many times I go back to these videos when I'm out and about and I'm checking the condition of a book rather than doubling up on it. I know I always make a note and say, well, I'm going to put that on the upgrade list, but I have been in places where there's no phone signal, and that is the slight drawback, in that I don't have a physical book with it written in. Everything is online, but it's just a little bit easier to control it when it's online, because I can update it sort of on the fly, as it were, which I have done. But it's all good. Now, this is the Mary Quant book. Now, this one did have a little square there where there's been some sticker removal. Now I don't know how well I'm going to be able to do to get that cleaned, but I'll do the rest of the cover and then we'll see how it looks. It's a beautiful copy of a pretty collectible book. It's so of its era, isn't it? This is really good, and we forget how popular Mary Quant was in her day, but it's come up absolutely lovely, that, which is how I wanted it. Now, yeah, it's still on there, and this may be one of those cases, I'm not sure if you can see it in the light, but maybe one of those, just a little square there. This may be one of those cases where, as people have suggested in the past, get some lighter fluid on it, and that is true. I have tried that before, and I've actually got a little batch of books that I'm keeping back to try different things on. So I don't know if you've ever heard of something called Gooby Gone or Goo Gone or something like that. It's an American product, but you can buy it from Amazon UK now. And this is one which like lifts up glue, horrible stickers on books and things like that. That is what it's designed for. So I'm going to get some of that. And I'm going to use some lighter fluid as well, but I'm going to use some decent lighter fluid. The last lighter fluid I got was from like a Poundland, and I just don't think it was a very good brand. I think I need some like decent lighter fluid, if there is such a thing, one of the more recognizable brands, I guess, and give that a try. So I shall make a mental note of the Mary Quant book, but the thing is, I don't want to be experimenting on a book like that Mary Quant one, because I don't want to damage it. I'm absolutely fine with it having a little sticker mark on it rather than do it more damage, Sometimes less is more, and I think that is definitely true. You can sometimes cause more damage by, over cleaning something. So I try and do it with some sort of conservatism if I can and not overcook it, but it's easily done, should we say. I get lots of people leave comments to say I've been using your techniques to go through and clean all my paperbacks, and I think that's fantastic. I do enjoy hearing those sorts of things, and if I have helped you get your collection looking a bit better, then fantastic, really. I'm really pleased with that. It was an interesting little period for Pan. It's not my favourite period by any means. I think for Pan, my absolute best period is sort of, it's the James Bond era. It's sort of, when James Bond was in its heyday, sort of 55 to, I know it started a bit before that, but about 55 to 62, 63. That's probably my favourite era of all with Pan books. And just something about them is really, really excellent, Some of these were actually quite clean, so they're not needing masses of work, but they are needing a little bit of work. So I haven't actually had a look to see what next week's video is going to be yet. I've got a very, very busy week. I'm working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So as I'm recording this today, I am actually going to be working the bank holiday Monday here in the UK, which, I don't mind. I do the odd one. Thursday, I am filming a video with a couple of friends of mine. So they're coming around to the studio. We're doing a comic book related one. Then Friday, I'm off to a book dealer called All You Need Is Books, Zardos Books. I'm paying him a visit with my friend Steve, the Outlaw Bookseller, who also has a channel here on YouTube. Which should be good. It's a bit of a busy week ahead. I've just finished editing today a great video where I've interviewed a BBC effects technician called Scott Wayland, and Scott's worked on many programmes over the years, including Doctor Who. He's got a rather special Dalek that he's getting rid of. That was used in a couple of stories. And I took the time to go and visit him, which was brilliant fun. Had a look around his brewery, which he runs nowadays. Do look out for that video on the channel, on my other channel, hopefully in about a week's time. And this was the one that was particularly, had that mottled-ish cover, which was hard to see because it's so black, and I can already feel that we've taken quite a bit of it off, whatever was causing that. Yes, it's certainly been through the old ringer, this one. It's not perfect, but it's definitely better than it was. Don't know what all these little... It's been flecked with something. It's very, very difficult to see exactly what, because they're not standing out, But you don't want to overcook it sometimes, just like we said earlier on. Sometimes you can go over the top, and it doesn't really affect that book at all. There's Alfred Hitchcock anthologies, and there's an awful lot of them. There's about 4 or 5 published in Vintage Pan, but in the States there must be over 100, and that's not a joke. There's loads of them, and they're just compilations of short stories with a twist that Alfred Hitchcock used to film, his anthology series and that. Which was called what? Alfred Hitchcock Presents, wasn't it? That's one of the second parts, so we're halfway through the polishing now. There we go. Right. That's a couple of stacks. Maybe tie in. Yeah, I can't remember what's on the agenda for next week, but I think it's been a while since we've done a Pelican one. I have got some other minor series, Penguin-wise, that I might end up pulling those out instead, just to give us a little bit of a change. We got some science news and some biology, which, they're pretty straightforward, but they are still going to need the treatment. I'm also going to need to give my Star Trek books the once over, because I am planning on bagging those ones up and, in effect, putting them into storage. I'm going to clean them, do one final video first, then I'm going to clean them and put that part of the collection into storage, which is, I'm going to start doing that with some of it as I prepare to move over the next year or two. It'll all be clearly marked, so I'll be able to access it, but once it's been done, I don't actually need to have it out on the shelf. And it's just going to make things a little bit easier for me as I clear other stuff out, which I am actively doing at the moment. Huge book this, isn't it? And it really is a brick. This one's alright, but missing that block, so I do need to get a better copy, which is a shame because on the face of it, it's pretty nice. Okay. They cleaned up quite nicely. Last little wedge now. Careful not to wipe over the signatures on these. That would be a bit unfortunate. To say the least. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I know it's been a bit of a quicker one this time round. It's just because I filled up a whole box load of books, but because so many of them are so thick, it's meant that I've had less individual books to actually tidy up, in actual fact, you know. What a tome that one is. Yeah, if you have enjoyed the video today, do please give it that thumbs up. If you've not already, do please hit the subscribe button for regular cleaning content. We are almost at the 2,000 subscriber mark, so another little milestone. And I shall look forward to seeing you again next week with another cleaning video, which I suspect will be a penguin related one of some sort, pelican or something similar. There we are. Bye.